Robert Redford has kept his professional grievances quiet for decades, until now. At age 88, he's revealing the actors who turned collaboration into conflict. You won't find scripted drama here. These were raw clashes of personality and process. From stormy improvisations to controlling egos, these stories capture the combustible mix that can derail even Hollywood legends. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Redford swore never to work with some of these stars again. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Number 1, Gene Hackman. On the surface, the 1969 film Downhill Racer promised to be a showcase of two magnetic talents, Robert Redford and Gene Hackman, but behind the cameras, it was anything but smooth. Redford, known for his calculated performances and preference for precise direction, found himself clashing constantly with Hackman, whose brash, instinctive style dominated the set. What started as creative differences quickly took on a sharp edge. One incident perfectly summed up their incompatibility: a dispute over the set's lighting. Hackman pushed for immediate changes that disrupted the planned shoot, leading to hours of delays. Redford, already frustrated by Hackman's disregard for subtlety, reportedly walked away in disbelief. Hackman's intensity often overwhelmed scenes designed to focus on nuance, earning him Redford's now famous critique, calling him a sledgehammer in a violin shop. The tension made it almost impossible to create the unspoken harmony the film needed. Instead, their collaboration became one they both seemed eager to forget. For Redford, this was the first and last time he would share a set with Gene Hackman, a decision that spoke volumes. Number 2, James Woods. James Woods and Robert Redford never shot a single frame together, but their conflict is still one of Hollywood's most infamous pre-production tales. They were set to collaborate on a legal thriller in the late 1980s, but their early conversations quickly turned sour. Woods, known for his outspoken, confrontational demeanor, clashed almost immediately with Redford's measured and principled approach. What started as a creative debate soon spiraled into heated arguments, with both men refusing to budge. According to those familiar with the project, their friction wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. Woods, who often leaned into his controversial political stances, reportedly criticized Redford's preferred themes of subtlety and social introspection, calling them naive. For Redford, who valued a collaborative but controlled environment, Woods' volatile reputation was already a red flag. After their disagreements grew worse, Redford made the call. Woods was out. The fallout wasn't publicized at the time, but insiders took note. Over the years, Redford quietly avoided enlisting Woods for any of his future projects, reinforcing their deep divide. Number 3, Dustin Hoffman. On the set of All the President's Men, Dustin Hoffman's reputation for improvisation clashed head-on with Robert Redford's demand for precision. Redford had envisioned a tightly controlled rhythm to their scenes, one that required careful preparation and execution. Hoffman, however, saw spontaneity as essential to his craft, a strategy that left Redford visibly frustrated. Crew members described the atmosphere as quietly tense, though the lack of explosive outbursts didn't mask the growing discord. One particularly challenging moment came during a newsroom phone call sequence. Hoffman, in his element, reworked lines and changed pacing with every take, leaving Redford to react to completely unpredictable shifts. By the 7th take, Redford's irritation was hard to miss. While Hoffman believed these changes added authenticity, Redford considered them disruptive to the film's narrative cohesion. At one point, Redford was overheard telling director Alan J. Pakula, "We're trying to tell a story," a subtle jab at Hoffman's chaotic method. Despite the movie's critical success, Redford later reflected on the experience, stating simply, "Once was enough." Number 4, Tom Cruise. The pairing of Robert Redford and Tom Cruise in Lions for Lambs seemed promising at first, a film blending heavyweight talent with timely political commentary, but behind the scenes, their collaboration quickly broke down. Redford, who directed and starred in the project, envisioned a quiet, cerebral exploration of political accountability. Cruz, also a producer, had other ideas. He wanted sweeping market appeal, pushing for broader messaging, faster pacing, and even alterations to visuals to create more iconic moments. The takes grew grew tense. Cruz requested shot changes so his silhouette could project discipline, directly clashing with Redford's aim for vulnerability in the same scene. Redford later said, "I wanted the scene to show vulnerability. He wanted it to show symmetry, underscoring their creative divide." Rewrites dragged on as Cruz's demands for clarity and polish wore down Redford's patience. Even in post-production, Cruz pressed for tighter edits of his scenes, sparking long arguments over split-second reaction shots. The film's lukewarm reception reflected the conflict. Neither thoughtfulness nor marketability fully emerged, leaving both visions compromised. For Redford, this project became one of his most frustrating missteps. Number 5. Fay Dunaway. During the production of 3 Days of the Condor, the working relationship between Robert Redford and Fay Dunaway proved to be anything but smooth. Dunaway's perfectionism and high demands clashed sharply with Redford's steady, methodical approach, making the atmosphere on set uneasy. A crew member once described Dunaway as a storm in heels, a label that summarized how her strong-willed nature disrupted the flow of production. She routinely pushed for rewrites to lines, changes to lighting setups, and additional adjustments when scenes didn't meet her exacting standards. The tension came to a head during a private meeting with the director Sidney Pollack. Dunaway challenged the emotional development of her character in a critical scene. Redford, frustrated with the delays, reportedly snapped, saying, "It's espionage, Fay, not Chekhov." That line perfectly captured the heart of their creative divide. Dunaway sought deeper emotional layers, while Redford prioritized the film's pacing and genre demands. Number 6. Robert Duval. On the set of The Natural, Robert Duval's improvisational instincts didn't just spark creativity, they sparked conflict. Redford, ever meticulous in his preparation, had mapped out every emotional beat of their scenes. Duval, on the other hand, treated the set like a stage for jazz, pushing spontaneity to its limits. During one particularly pivotal confrontation scene, Duval's sarcastic ad-libs undercut the tension Redford was striving to build. The scene spiraled as Duval reworked the energy take after take, ignoring the structured arc the director, Barry Levinson, and Redford carefully crafted. Finally, Redford couldn't stay silent. He halted the take and turned directly to Duval, airing his frustration with the deviations. According to crew members, the heated exchange perfectly encapsulated their clashing styles, with Redford seeking precision while Duval leaned into personal interpretation and looseness. One crew member famously described it as Duval wanting to play jazz, while Redford insisted on playing composition. Number 7. Paul Newman. Paul Newman and Robert Redford formed one of Hollywood's most iconic pairings, but their bond began to unravel during the making of The Sting. Having worked harmoniously on Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Redford expected the same camaraderie. Instead, Newman's new role as a producer introduced an imbalance that changed everything. With increased control over decision-making, spanning script tweaks, casting, and even camera positioning, Newman's influence dominated the production. Redford couldn't ignore the shift in dynamics, later admitting, "He stopped being my co-star and started being my competition." The public's perception of their partnership didn't help. Journalists gravitated towards Newman, often directing questions to him first, as though he alone represented their on-screen magic. By the time the cameras rolled for the final scenes, their once close friendship had shifted into polite distance. They never worked together again, leaving behind a bittersweet reminder of their fractured legacy. Robert Redford's clashes with these 7 actors didn't just reveal creative or personal tensions, they reshaped how he approached filmmaking. Each conflict, whether born from artistic style, personality, or control, reinforced his belief in the value of collaboration grounded in respect and shared vision. These experiences explain why Redford grew to prioritize precision and efficiency, steering clear of chaotic or ego-driven environments. They also hint at a deeper truth: even Hollywood's brightest stars can struggle to align. These behind-the-scenes stories serve as a reminder that brilliance on screen often comes from battles we never see. So whose list is next?